I would remind you that please do not speak unless you're called on by the council or by the staff, unless you signed up for 3 minutes. And also, please don't talk among yourselves. That might keep somebody else around you from hearing. So, I guess y'all guys do. Okay, well, we'll begin with our invocation. We'll begin with a moment of silence. If y'all will join with me. Thank you. Whose turn? Last time. Ben, do you mind?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. On the way in here. Okay, review and adoption of the agenda. We'll cover that, and whenever y'all ready, make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
All in favor? Thank you. Number 3, approval of minutes from March 23rd, 2026. I hope you had a chance to look over the minutes and make a motion whenever you're ready.
Make a motion to approve minutes of March 23rd, 2026.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, number 5, public comments.
So there are 2 different public comments. We're just going to do the general public comment for now. That's Melinda Klein. And there's a second one for the public hearing. We'll get to that next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So last week we went to the bird count. First of all, I'm here about the AI data centers. Well, most of us are here about that. And we went to the Burke County Commissioners meeting last week, voiced our concerns, told them the facts. I don't want to keep repeating closed loop water systems are not really closed loop water systems. They are going to keep requiring water. They're going to dump contaminants into our water. AI data centers are polluting our air. They're going to deplete the soil. It'll be brown, it won't, I don't have to go through all that. I'm back here because they basically, they listened to us, but they basically said this is in your hands. And I understand that we elected them as well. So it's in their hands too. But we're going to go along this road until we get somewhere with it. And, right now we're on this road to ask, okay, what roadblocks can you guys put in place so that when the data center, they start moving forward with the plan to come, like, I know there's zoning things that have changed that kind of tied y'all's hands, right? I know about that. But what about like specific measures that you can put on them, like hold them accountable, basically say, okay, give us the information that you have about your closed water system, like what contaminants are going to be dumped into our aquifers, how much of that can be filtered, which I already know that like a lot of that's not, we're not equipped, our wastewater treatment plants cannot clean this water. Also, how do you deal with evaporation? Like, how much water is this really? Not your fantasy land. Oh, it's going to be recycled all the time. No, it's not. That's a lie. So is there a way to hold them accountable for the water, the pollution, the air pollution, and kind of say, okay, are you using the most advanced technology that you have to protect this community? Because you might own this plot of land, but what you're doing, it's not staying on that plot of land. It's affecting everybody around it. And this is our land, this is our air, this is our water, this is our town, and this is our county, and we are going to hold people accountable. You know, I get the fact that this data centers are necessary. They are. I know that our economy runs on it. Okay, I'm so sorry. I know that they are necessary, but they need to find a better way, because the way they're doing it is polluting people, making them sick, and it's destroying the environment.
Thanks for your comment.
And if I may, Ariana Archer, are you here?
Yeah.
You signed up on the rezoning, sign
Oh,
up
I
sheet, but you want to speak to the data center?
Yes.
Okay, we can go ahead and do that now. If you'd like.
Okay.
You've got 3 minutes, you'll have 3 minutes.
Well, thank you, Commissioners, for calling here. It sounds like I'm on good company, but I am definitely here to, my name's Ariana Archer. I'm a resident of the city of Hickory, and I was just here to voice my concerns about the data center coming to Hildebran. I would like to preface that I'm not one that's opposed to technology, nor am I a pessimist of it. I am, however, someone that values mindful and responsible management of technology and the responsibility that comes with it. In other words, stewardship of that which is in our control. With that being said, there is an opportunity to be good stewards of our local economy, our environment, and our healthcare in North Carolina, considering the information we now know about operations of established data centers around the country. So the first concern is increased utility rates. Data centers put stress on the electricity grid due to enormous energy demands, and are coupled with capacity shortage and oil shortages causing energy waste. Companies are investing in expensive infrastructure updates to address this additional cost is also passed on to residents through higher rates, compounding a massive financial burden onto our already overburdened communities. Next is excessive resource consumption. So the data center that's planned to be built here is going to consume 200 megawatts of power, which is enough to power 120,000 homes. So in addition to energy usage, the water consumption that these data centers require for their cooling system or cooling of their system is extreme. Some data centers use hundreds of millions of gallons of water annually, and that's more than some communities use. Even with advancements in new renewable energy and alternative cooling strategies, data centers are faced with choosing between energy efficiency or water efficiency, as existing technologies and systems cannot achieve both simultaneously. Next, as it's been spoken to, pollution and climate change. With these massive demands in energy, prolonged operation of coal plants that were scheduled for retirement are unraveling environmental conservation progress and taking steps back from renewable energy goals, as seen in states like Pennsylvania, Nebraska, Georgia, Virginia, and other states. Data center operators attempt to reassure us that clean energy is coming in the future with nuclear fission. However, there are no functioning small modular reactors currently in operation. Finally, tax incentives is the huge thing. They're trying to offer you ideally can't use. Communities are losing desperately needed tax revenue for education, emergency services, and infrastructure due to tax breaks. These companies are receiving subsidies intended to create jobs that result in corporate benefit only. Data centers are not delivering economic growth or high-paying jobs either. Once these facilities are built, the jobs that are produced are low-wage, non-technical, and short-term positions like maintenance and janitorial services, often filled by contractors with no real career opportunities for the local community. So what I'm urging the council is to consider a data center development moratorium for at least a year. This is time that can allow our communities to come together, to become more educated on these impacts of the data centers, and to create policies together that serve our communities first, and mitigate the real harm being done to communities across the country as a result of these data centers.
Thank you.
No, not till the
Okay. All right, number 6, public hearing, ZMA 26-1, rezoning property located at 107 Main Avenue East from Central Business District to Conditional District. And at this time, I will open the public hearing on this matter. And
You want to take a comment or presentation from staff?
let's take the presentation first, yeah, and then we'll go with public comment.
hearing tonight, but if we want to do a mini presentation, it's up to you, how you want to handle it, or just wait, because we need to have a public hearing re-advertised.
Yeah.
So,
Little explanation, we do need to have a little bit more time for, as far as advertisement for the public hearing to make a motion on this topic. But just to give y'all kind of a brief overview of them, what this is, it's for 107 Main Avenue East, and that is the parcel that's directly across from the park entrance. What's been applied for here is a rezoning from your central business district to your conditional district for a development of a 48-unit, 55-plus apartment building. And so that's what would be going on approximately almost 2.2 acres. And they would need the flood requirements for that to kind of give some leniency in the code to be able to build that structure there. Planning board has already heard this topic and has made a recommendation at the full public hearing. I'll get that full staff report on their reasons, just to make sure we have all that legally, once it's been advertised. But yeah, so that's what's being proposed here for that rezoning. And that's where we're going to need that more time. So that's, I believe, look at doing a special meeting in May, and that would be the whole full public hearing for this.
Yeah, we do have Charles Yoder signed up, understanding that we're not gonna take action. We get on 3 minutes.
Thank you. I am here as a result of being one of the family members who owns the property over at 107 Main East. The property is something that my sisters and I plan to give to the Lutheran Services of the Carolinas. They build apartment complexes through ventures with other builders and securing funds that help build those. They've done a lot of different apartment complexes throughout the areas from Morganton throughout Catawba County and around. But I am here to give you the owner's kind of perspective. My sister still lives on the property, Jenny Yoder. She's in attendance here. As I taught in public speaking many years ago, you should balance your speech with 3 factors: 1 passion, 1 ethics, and 1 logic. And tonight I'm going to leave the logic and I'm going to leave the ethics alone because I will not be dealing with that much. But mine's passion because we are the owners of the property. It all started around March 2003. Mom would be able to qualify for Medicaid if she had limited income. Her meager Social Security survivor benefits based on our father's earnings as of 1962 and 63 allowed her to qualify. She had spent down all of her savings. This afforded her a level of health care that she would not receive with Medicare, and there was no other insurance. We were told that the house and the land that she owned outright could be protected from seizure from Medicaid if we did a warranty deed of trust. So on March the 3rd, 2003, Mother deeded her home and land to her 5 children. I'm the youngest. It was the only thing of real value that she could leave us. She and our father, Cletus Yoder, were both children of the young adults during the Great Depression, and they valued land, real property, beyond many other things. It was all in her declining years that she could pass along. Our father, Cletus, had been stricken with a horrible word, cancer. It was the early 60s, and the word cancer was bad enough, but this was pancreatic cancer. And in his early 50s, he and his brothers had just started to enjoy some of the returns of their sweat, work, and sacrifice of opening a full-service grocery store. Cleet was reduced from the energetic, busy grocer, church council member, school board member, Lions Club member, husband and father, to a man who could only pass along the home we lived in. Grew up and celebrated many of our early highlights of our lives. Mother also passed in 2011 after years of declining health and was stricken with many of the indignities of old age, but was spared her greatest fear of being sent to an old folks' home. She knew no other home for over 60 years. Due to the good graces of my sisters Laura, Jenny, and Martha, what little nursing care that was administered in the home was covered day and night by my sisters in order for my mother to live in her family, in her familiar, safe, loving home. As the years passed, Jenny, who was living full-time with mother in her declining years, continued to live in the home. We discussed many times what to do with Mom's house. Should we sell it? To who? Jenny expressed an interest in buying out the rest of us. And as we talked with an attorney probing the options of how we might do this, one statement rang in my head and could not be avoided. She said, whatever you decide, whatever you put on paper and plan to do it without regrets. You cannot go back. At about the same time, my sister Martha, also in attendance with us, said, I am not sure I want to sell out and let this thing go. I was glad to hear that because I felt the same way. Martha said she wanted to honor our parents, Cletus and Lucy, with something. What could be more appropriate than seeing their name lived on beyond their years on earth?
You got about 30
That the
seconds.
property was so convenient to school that we attended, the church we were baptized and confirmed, the grocery store, the pharmacy, the many places we met friends, family members, and others around town. What better place for senior citizens to enjoy their remaining active years than on these 2.19 acres? Mountains, Table Rock, some Granite Falls of the baseball fields, a convenience store. Consideration, I will return on your.
Now, this is a public hearing, so the council can allow additional time as opposed to, that's at your discretion.
Mr. Council's.
I have a very short.
Because it's not public comments, it's what's on the agenda as an item. So.
This is, I'm winding down already. The convenience of grocery stores, pharmacy, walking and meeting park, and a church just steps away. Jenny and Martha and I did not come from generational wealth in the most strict term of the financial wealth definition. We do not own large stock portfolios, homes, cars, or personal wealth, but we can offer to the Lutheran Services of the Carolinas the 2.19 acres. And with that, the help of the mountain homes, there can be built apartments that can be used for those senior citizens who want to live in a community, welcoming them to live out their years in comfortable, safe, and a convenient home. Thank you very much.
That's it for the public hearing.
Is there any other comment?
Are we allowed to speak on it now? I'm sorry, is this later?
Well, did you have to sign up?
I signed something, but maybe the wrong one. Oh, she may sign this on there.
Oh, is that sheet outside?
Yeah, go ahead.
We can, and again, we're not taking a vote tonight. It will be
Right.
back on the agenda next month.
I just want to speak on, I will say this, Jenny's my neighbor, I adore her, but I still, and as sentimental as that was, and I can appreciate that, we're talking about the past, I'm talking about the future. And I'm a neighbor of Jenny's, so I live very close. So this hits home for me. And you talk about the safety for seniors. You're putting this on a road with Pondview Apartments, where it's low-income housing. I would say it's one of the least safe places you could put this in the area. So I just want to hit on a few topics. I feel like when Pondview came, you guys said it would be one thing, and it wasn't. So what guarantees 55+ community? You talk about these wonderful mountain views, only the back. People in the apartments will benefit from those, not everybody who walks down the sidewalk anymore can't see table walk. You're blocking it. You're blocking my neighbor's view. You're blocking my view. I'm sorry, I only had 30 minutes to prepare for this because I didn't get the notice. So I just feel like current and past planning strategies are leading to a deterioration of our neighborhood, and we've seen a decrease in public safety, vandalism, sanitation deficiencies along that road. I feel like you are putting seniors. That is not ideal. I also feel like that concerns, you're putting it across from a park where children 90 cars speeding past that, they already go past that. What's your preventative measures to stop injury? Or, I mean, I almost get hit once a week crossing the road there when I walk my dogs. So I just want to bring other views to light. While there are positives to this for them, their views are based on memories in the past. And for me to see a future in Hildebran, I just feel like things keep on getting worse and worse. And I don't see a future if we just keep building our community in the wrong way. And I don't feel like apartments are beneficial. I certainly do want Jenny to benefit and live somewhere great. But again, selling the property she could afford her lifestyle in a senior complex in a suitable location that's not disruptive to the actual neighborhood in the downtown of Hildebran. So I just feel like our town's decision of shifting from community-based development towards real estate speculation, prioritizing investors' returns over the neighborhood, like what's the incentive? Is the town and the county getting revenue grants, tax credits? Who's looking to benefit besides the Yoder family in the town of Hildebran? Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing no one else, I'll go ahead and close this public hearing. We will move down to 7A. Consider approval of ZMA 6-1 rezoning property located at 107 Main Avenue East from Central Business District to Conditional District. And I have here in red, council will not be taking any action on this topic at the April meeting. So that's what we spoke earlier. We will hold a public hearing at our May meeting and the council will take action on that day. 7B, consider approval of scope of work for lawn care and snow removal services. That is in your packet.
Yeah, I did want to make one note to that. So staff has updated the lawn care contract, scope of work, and the snow removal scope of work as asked for by council. Attachment B does not currently require bidders to obtain the right-of-way pesticide license on page 2, as it is required in attachment A. Given there are screening requirements on Highway 70 and the railroad right-of-way, we will need to require that in that attachment for attachment B. But they'll have to have it anyway for attachment A, so it's not a big deal. But just as an update, if council does approve the scope of work, staff will release an RFP this week and bring quotes back to council. Given the 18th is a week earlier than our normal meeting, we may need to schedule a special meeting sometime between our May 18th meeting and our June meeting if we want to have this in place in any decent amount of time for July.
Okay, we're a motion and vote. Does anybody have any questions?
Several copies of the same contract.
They are different scopes of work.
Different scopes.
So yeah, they could be attached to the same contract. For example, the 2 lawn care copies, they'll be part of the same contract. You've got one that's part of the parks contract, and then you've got one that's part of the snow removal.
Looking at the motion to proceed.
I'll make a motion to approve the, paperwork.
All in favor? Thank you. 7C, discussion regarding purchasing of a gazebo.
Have we measured that area, Logan?
Gary, do you have an idea generally how big the area is they're looking at for the gazebo?
Probably close to 20-foot diameter from
At
center to
least.
center to perimeter. Radius.
So would a 8x10 be recommendable?
That might be a little small.
Okay.
If you want it to come to the edges,
10x12?
I can let you know.
Okay.
If we're gonna move forward with this tonight, or we're just discussing it and bring it back next month, possibly.
We can do whatever, we can make a motion or we can table it.
And is this just for additional seating too? Okay.
Yeah, and if you're looking for pricing based on what size you might go with, there's a page. For example, it gives you an octagon, it gives you an oblong shape. Then depending on what size you go with, I guess it's got a chart for pricing.
And the vinyl option is pretty much maintenance free and it's only a few $1,000s more. We might want to look at that.
I would go with something that's maintenance free, not wood.
Do they include any scenery or anything? Or is it- It's just generic stuff.
We probably need to table it till we have an idea about the area size.
Yeah, so it was brought up during the budget retreat, and we just wanted to see if it's something, does council want to pursue? Is that the direction you're looking at? Do you want us to get quotes and bring that back to you? Yes.
I'd like to pursue it.
Okay.
I'd like to
You know, regulate into 12 with the vinyl and metal brick or something like that, something we're not gonna have to worry about for a long time.
Okay, that's the consensus to table it. Okay,
We'll just get the dimensions, whatever.
okay. 8, new business, 8A, code enforcement Q1 report for the night.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council.
down run.
It's been a while, so I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I think it's been that long since we've been able to meet. You're gonna have an April packet, which kind of goes over some things in March, and then you're gonna have the quarterly report, which will cover January through March. To start things out, I just want to say a big thank you to Officer Buchanan. He has been in and out of the woods. We're doing some things with the homeless that we're having. He and I have been in some places where, you know, we've had to interact with some individuals. So I don't want to say welcome, it's here, but there is a homeless issue going on. And if you got ideas to corral it, kind of do it better, I'm open. I'm investigating with him. He's investigating. We're actually going to get together a little bit later this week or the first of next for another property. One particular, Klein Park Drive, if you're familiar with that. There was a gentleman, excuse me. There was a gentleman that flew down from the Buffalo area as a representative to the company that owns the land. He and I walked the property. We noticed a lot of debris on the train track side up to where the encampment was. He has now had it gated and locked, so they can't actually get through the drive area from the dead end circle. And he's got it posted as no trespassing. Has it stopped it? I'm not gonna answer that, but I think you guys kind of understand, so. Sorry?
I said no.
Yeah. So, as you're looking through your packet, you know, just be aware summer's here. There's probably gonna be more foot traffic that we're gonna encounter, so. the business that had caught on fire and burned. That individual has cleaned it up, as you can tell when you're driving through. He's been really well to interact with me on his insurance and contractors, and as you can see, he did what he needed to. The plans to rebuild it, I haven't got that part yet. I'm not sure if he's even got contractors for that yet at this point, but it is clean and it's safe, but it's got a fence around it, thankfully. If you don't have any questions, I'll let you look through it and we'll move on. Fair enough? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
A, B, presentation and approval of audit report for year ending June 30th, 2025.
Good evening, and thank you guys for having me. So we completed the audit for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2025. And our firm is issuing a clean, unmodified opinion. You had a yellow book audit this past year due to your grant funding. On page 50 of the audit report begins your compliance section. I'm just going to cover the findings and responses. I'm just going to go straight to that. Give you guys a chance to get there. So the first finding is segregation of duties. The second one is the fact that our firm drafts the financial statements. We draft them, but Logan and Rick actually review it and approve it. So they are involved in that process. As I have mentioned in previous years, the segregation of duties, it's hard to get around when you have a smaller staff. And we see this all the time. So this isn't uncommon to have this as a significant deficiency. Also, the fact that we draft the financial statements, we draft the financial statements for 99% of our clients. So there again, it's very common. If you turn the page to page 53, excess expenditures over appropriations. The town expended more in the Cardiff Fund by $5,503. That's just a budgetary type item. And then the fourth item, which is not listed on here because it's not required, but it is required to be addressed with the local government commission along with these other three, is the fact that we amended the contract date, the audit contract date. So the audit being due at the end of December, and we were not finished with the audit at that time. Rick is drafting a letter that is required to go to the local government commission addressing each of these four items, and then the board will actually sign off on it. And the letter is basically stating the reason for each of the issues. So, like I said, the first two are pretty common. So you guys have had those in the past just because it will always be there with the segregation of duties and drafting the financial statements. Any questions on that part so far? If not, we will go over to the financial highlights. So there are two columns of numbers. The first one is fiscal year ending June 30, 2025. And the second one is fiscal year ending June 2024. So the audit that we've just prior year audit. So cash and investments, approximately $1.6 million. down just slightly from 2.5 million in the prior year. Restricted cash and investments, 539,847 in comparison to 487,876 in the prior year. Your total assets, 2.3 million in comparison to 3.1 million. Your fund balance, 2.2 million, down just slightly. In the prior year, it was 3 million approximately. Your total revenues were up just slightly, pretty comparable, 1.3 million in comparison to 1,281,838. And your total expenditures were actually slightly under in comparison to the prior year. So 1,085,511 in comparison to 1,104,322 in the prior year. Now in fiscal year 2025 to a capital project, grant project. There were no proceeds, there's no debt, so there were no proceeds from borrowing. Your fund balance, you had a decrease in your fund balance of 813,778. And in the prior year, you had actually added to your fund balance with 313,704. Ad valorem taxes collected was slightly up, 370,162 in comparison to 360,244. And your percent of taxes collected were not 99.47%. In the prior year, it was 99.55. Investment income, 1,222, just down slightly from 1,369. Going down to your available fund balance, you've got an available fund balance of 99.59%. The local government commission wants to see you having a minimum of 34%. So you have met that both of the past 2 years. Any questions on anything I've covered? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, 8C, consider approval of quote. I'm sorry.
Two other sections.
Yeah, we also need to add the FPIC letter that is at your, should have been given out to you. So we need to make a motion to add the FPIC letter, and then we need a motion to vote to accept the audit, and then a separate motion vote to accept the letter. Is that right?
I make a motion to approve the audit.
All in favor? Thank you.
What was the other one? To accept the letter?
The letter to the LGC
Yes.
in response to the audit findings.
Yes. Make a motion for that.
All in favor? Thank you.
I make a motion to accept the letter attached to the audit.
Okay, all in favor? Is that all voting?
Should be.
Okay.
Should be.
8C, consider approval of quote to install a drop ceiling in the storage room at the auditorium.
Ma'am?
Can I get a copy, please?
Yes, so we talked about it last month, but I think council wanted us to bring back a quote. I'm not sure that we want to move forward with reinstalling the drop ceiling at the auditorium, stage prop room, room. But if you did, I think you wanted to know some numbers, so we brought that quote back. It's roughly $2,400 to reinstall it if you want to. If not, you don't have to move forward.
And can you tell us a reason again for everybody else?
Maybe to cut down on the echo and or the heating and cooling of that room, given it goes all the way to the ceiling. May help mildly. It may help with the sound reverberation in that room. But I believe also there was possible discussions of installing a upper floor for possible storage. So just depending on what your plans are for that room, you may want to reinstall it, you may not. It's up to council.
Is that something we can hold off on and add later if we think it's needed, or does it need to be decided now?
I don't think there's any urgency to do it now.
If we do the ceiling, when we do the ceiling, will it be the white tile? I mean, we were concerned, you were talking about blacking out that area with low colors, and I didn't know if that, is there gonna be curtains or something? I mean, if you do that, it has to be something done to block the white tile.
There will be curtains installed. However, when you open those curtains, could it be visible? Possibly.
So I think we make a motion to hold off on that and see if there's something else we need.
Okay, heard the motion, all in favor? Thank you. 8D, discussion regarding HHD rent for February through May 2026.
So yes, due to the leak that happened from the water pipe burst in the auditorium basement, HHDA approached us about possibly having the rent reduced or forgiven January through May. We will possibly June, but we believe the work will be completed by June. So we wanted to bring that before council. They haven't been able to use the basement since the leak. We feel it's a request worth bringing to
I think we definitely need to do one or the other. For 5 months, that's like $1,000. And since they've not been able to use it, I think we ought to either reduce it or just forgive it.
I think I'll forgive it, because they haven't been able to use it. Forgive it.
Make a motion that we forgive the rent for those 5 months that you've not been able to use the auditorium.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. 8E, consider approval of resolution revising the 2025 through 2026 town council regular meeting schedule. That is in your packet.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the revised meeting schedule.
All in favor?
I can't do May 11th.
Was it the next one?
Yep.
Oh,
So, yeah, and I believe the request is so that we have the hearing prior to May 15th. So the company would be applying for, they have an application deadline due on the 15th. If we do not have the meeting prior to the 15th, I know for a fact they can't make their deadline. So it's
What
up
was it
to,
possible?
it's in regards to the public hearing, the rezoning.
Do we want to try to move it to the 12th?
I think anything prior to the 15th works for them.
what day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Opposed?
can't change my 18th right now, the way my things I've got going on, I can't do it, so.
As
That's the reason
long
I
as we
voted
have a
yes.
quorum, we'll be okay with it.
Or we need 4 of us.
That's vote for 2-3 and failed.
Right.
I'm saying for a quorum on that date.
Well, we have to approve the resolution to change it to a different date. And so far, we've not had a majority to change the date, either to the 11th or the 12th.
Okay.
So as of right now, it's failed and we're back on the 18th.
But we can't do it on the 18th.
We need another motion, if there is one.
Do they have any other dates that would work?
I'll do that week.
Well, it's fine with me.
In May. So you can't, the week of 11th through the 15th?
I can do the 18th, that's the only day I've got available at that point.
Okay, so you can't do the week of the 4th through the 8th?
No.
Okay.
I don't know that we would meet do we even meet the timeline if it's the 4th through the 8th? The way to do a public hearing at, is it just 7 days out? Is it- I'd have to look at it.
Or 25. I think Ashley said the 18th.
You don't have to take it, so Saturday,
Do we have a motion?
So
The earliest I can get it in is Thursday.
what was the last motion?
for the 12th.
Didn't Ben make a motion?
Yeah, but Terry can't come either day, so we might as well leave it on the 11th if we're gonna do it.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it on the 11th. Was that voted on?
No, you have
No,
to.
it did not pass.
They didn't pass.
Okay.
It's rezoning.
All right.
You need a motion?
A motion again.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to leave it on the May 11th.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Well, any other ideas? I'm open.
What's the problem if we have a quorum? We have,
You think you can't come?
I don't think I'm late, I was out of town.
I got a lot going on this week. I wouldn't know till the day of, just about.
All right, has to be before the 18th, correct?
The 15th.
Has to be before
15th.
the 15th. And I think you're gonna need 2. You're gonna need one at least 10 to 11 days out, and then you're gonna need a second one less than 10 days out in a following week. So I'm thinking the week of the 11th. For rezoning.
And the week of the 4th, we wouldn't have time to advertise? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, actually, can they meet I don't know if they can meet the, rezoning.
As far as for your days to advertise, for that, posting it, would you need 10 days minimum?
You need a minimum 10 for the first one.
The 8th of May. Y'all too busy then too?
Well, the first publication would be that Saturday, right? So, or this Saturday would be the
This
second,
coming.
so you wouldn't have 10 days. But it looks like it have to be the 11th or later, because if you had your 10 days. Your first day one was May 2nd.
There's only be 3 of us here. I would not be a quorum.
3 out of 5. Is that all quorum?
We need 3 council members. But so far, we've got 2.
You ain't gonna do Saturday. I don't think you do it. I don't think it's gonna pay for that one on Saturday.
All right, we're stalling.
Yeah, if you're unable to do it prior to the 11th, I don't know that they can. Well, prior to the 15th, but if you can't do it the week of the 11th, that would be the earliest that we could meet the advertising requirements for it. I don't know that it's a requirement that they have it by the 15th, but I think it would definitely be required if they wanted to meet their application deadline this year. It would be next year again before they could apply.
Well, we can advertise.
That's just gonna be for me to try to do it. It's just-
Oh, wait.
Can the whole thing be bumped back a
I
month?
done told we can sell 13.
Right the first time. Especially.
What he's on.
Can the whole thing be bumped back another month?
I think their deadline is they have to have it before the 15th of May. And if they miss their, whatever, if it's a grant or whatever, it's not open for another year.
Oh, gosh. And we have to advertise this 10 days ahead. Well, I don't know what to do.
Other than just leave the meeting on the 18th as originally scheduled.
Go ahead and have the meeting on the 18th. So that won't require a vote, because that's what it's gonna
That's
be.
what it is anyway, correct?
Okay.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Well, okay.
Are either one of y'all available 13th or 14th?
13th or 14th.
I won't do. I'll be out of town.
That's really strange.
I got a lot happening that week. I hate to commit and not be able to make it.
Terry can't do that either week, so.
It's probably an announcement. I will not be at the June meeting. I'll try to find a substitute if I can.
All right. One on with the meeting. Reports and committees. 9A, April, facilities report. It's in your packet. 9B, March tax report, tax collector. 9C, March deputy report. If you can, is here. Tell us all the details if you want to.
Got any questions, you guys?
9D, events committee report. David's here if you have any questions. Now, committee reports.
I just want to ask about the events committee thing. We were talking about doing the, opening the town council in May for the cruise in. Is that set up? I know we've got somebody lined up to dig it up.
We just went into an agreement with Eastbrook Youth, who owns the property. I've had one grading company come out and quote it. I have another one set up to come out sometime this week, and it should be out of the ground for the Memorial Day party.
Okay, so it'll be ready for us.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, committees, technical coordinating committee.
I did attend that meeting. I will forward you the agenda package. I didn't see anything relevant to us at the meeting. If you have questions on it after you get it, you let me know.
Transportation advisory committee. Same thing.
Not anything there.
Western Piedmont Council Government Policy Board.
Logan and I attended the annual meeting at the Metro Center last week. Basically went over committee reports and recognized all the employees with 5 or more years of service.
Burke Development.
BDI, so it was the new president and CEO's first meeting in April. Reviewed and adopted the minutes, reviewed and approved the financials. We had a roundtable, just kind of catch everybody up to speed on where each municipality is and what we're focused on. We discussed a strategic planning meeting date. Staff gave updates on the Bird Business Park, the Spake Building, and their marketing. Then we had a closed session. That was all.
Okay, that it.
Okay, Vedic met on March the 26th at 11:30 at the Valdez Town Hall Community Room. The meeting was called to order by Chairperson Marla Thompson. Keith Huffman, Valdez Mayor, was welcome as a guest for the meeting. Kerry conducted a brief financial overview and highlighting the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet for February. The total income is up 79.8% from last year. The money market rate changed for our money that's in the money market from 0.05% to 2.5%. The balance sheet reflected a slightly lower amount of money to lend with the probability of temporary lowering of the maximum loan amount for clients. Eddie gave a delinquent report of very little change due to very consistent payments. Eddie also gave a technical assistance update with a client request for loan modification of 3 months with interest-only payment. The board also voted to offer a payoff option to a client that had been sent a demand letter. He is working on a client survey to present it to the board at a later date. One new loan application was presented for $140,000, which the board approved. Vedic is looking to do smaller loans less than $50,000. The next meeting is April the 23rd, 2016 at Overrock School. Vedic met April the 23rd at Overrock School at 11:30. The meeting was called to order by Marla Thompson. Kerry gave a financial overview of the profit and loss statement for March. She stated that its website now reflects the board's focus on granting loans up to $50,000. Eddie had little to report, with most clients making consistent payments. The board voted to reduce one client's delinquent loan payment to $200 a month. If the payments are not made, then a judgment will be placed for the loan. Eddie reviewed the vetted client survey. Most clients were happy with the vetted loan process and had an optimistic outlook for their business's progress. On March the 31st, Vedic is hosting a meeting of the Small Business Center where Vedic will provide information on their role in the loaning to small businesses. The USDA has requested success stories from Vedic. There's an interesting section on Vedic's website, if you haven't looked at it, that tells about client testimonials, and it'll tell you about a lot of the clients that Vedic has. The next meeting will be May the 28th at Roseford College Town Hall.
Library Board, I was out of town, I did not get to attend the meeting. And I believe that's all of our committees. Next is other business.
Kind of contact with the data center for the past month.
I do believe they are requesting a letter from the town, which I think we mentioned at last month's meeting or the month prior, regarding the requirements for obtaining some type of letter stating that they're permitted. We sent them a letter, or the planner from the COG sent them a letter informing them of the process to obtain the conditional district zoning, that they would need to do that. I think they are asking for clarification on that letter, but at this time, we've not had anything else.
Other business announcements. Adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you.
Ashley. Yeah. I think it was July or August. They asked to comply with the site plan they got from their zoning permit. And if they aren't in compliance with that, then it's gonna start. For what, landscaping permits for? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
How long is this?
Yeah, she told me about this.
Yeah, well,
I can either print it off and have it there for you to look at, whatever.
I know. He's sending me a bill. Next,